Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Voivod and this is Star Wars 7x7. So we are into our, oh gosh, would this be day 5? I guess this would be day 5, if I can do the math right. It's been a long week outside of the whole podcast realm. But anyway, I think this is day 5 of our deep dive out of 6 into the Solo: A Star Wars Story official guide from DK Publishing. And thanks again, DK, for sending me a copy to check out. It's been a lot of fun, continues to be a lot of fun. And I gotta say, Pablo Hidalgo has managed to channel a little bit of Lando's energy in the spread about Lando Calrissian. There's definitely a much more fun vibe. Not that, Pablo was writing boring stuff or anything like that, but just there's a little bit more attitude and a little bit more swagger in the presentation of the content on those two particular pages. So, that's always good fun. And what I think is particularly remarkable is that now it is official that we have integrated all 3 of the L. Neil Smith novels into Star Wars canon in some fashion or another again. So if you're not familiar with those books, back in the early 80s, they came out with 3 different Lando Calrissian books, and they were written by a guy named L. Neil Smith. So it was sort of the Lando trilogy answer to the Brian Daley Han Solo trilogy. And there were 3 books. It was Lando Calrissian and the Mind Harp of Sharu, Lando Calrissian and the Flame Wind of Ocean, and Lando Calrissian and the Star Cave of Thon Baka. Wow. All of those names are quite a mouthful. And in the movie, as we are, in that final scene where Han and Chewie find Lando and gamble for the Falcon and win this time, when we are approaching that whole scene and you hear the voiceover from Lando, he mentions the Star Cave Nebula, and so there's your first nod to one of the 3 Lando novels, and the other 2 novels get name-checked inside the Solo: A Star Wars Story official guide. So it turns out that the cape that Lando is wearing is from a bespoke it's a bespoke creation from Taylor in the Ocean Belt, and so there you get the Flame Wind of Ocean reference. And then the Mind Harp of Sharu comes in as there's some additional information about the Calrissian Chronicles. Those are, of course, the self-narrated memoir / novel / who knows exactly where the line between truth and fiction is on this one, but that Lando is dictating while he's sitting in the cockpit on Kessel waiting for everybody else to finish their job. Anyway, we find out in the official guide that he has already recounted and exaggerated a tale involving a caper for the Mind Harp of Sharu, so that's good fun. And there's also a great line in here too where he says Calrissian estimates that he's got at least a trilogy in him, but he'll see how the first one sells. So yeah, I'm very excited because, when I was a kid and I was reading the Han Solo novels and I got through the Han Solo novels and it was like, between that and Splinter of the Mind's Eye, that was it for additional Star Wars material, aside from the novelizations, of course. And so, then the Lando novels came out. I was like, yes, they keep going with these things. And to have some reference to them coming back into the official story of Star Wars, well, it's really thrilling, I think. We also find out that Lando considers capes his signature piece, his signature fashion style, and he thinks of it as the final wrapping on a prize to the galaxy himself. So another great little line from Pablo Hidalgo. And there's also a note in his profile about how his skills as a schemer and a storyteller allow him to get out of sticky situations without having to resort to physical exertion very often, so he never has to think about that practicality when he's dressing for any particular occasion, so he can just be as stylish as he wants to be and never worry about the fact that, oh, well, maybe these tight pants won't let me run away very fast or anything like that. That's just not his style, literally and figuratively. And we find out that his acquisition of the Millennium Falcon happens 2 years before the events of his encounter with Han Solo and Tobias Beckett and Kira in Solo: A Star Wars Story. So that means he's had it since the year 12 BBY, if we will, 12 years before the Battle of Yavin, and loses it in roughly 10 BBY, 10 years before the Battle of Yavin. And there's one other bit from this Place Your Bets section of the book that I wanted to share with you, which is Ralph Healy. Ralph Healy is the character that's played by Clint Howard, Ron Howard's brother in Solo: A Star Wars Story. And if the name Ralph Healy sounds familiar to you, or at least puts an echo in your head, well, that would be because the Rancor Keeper in Return of the Jedi is named Malak Healy. And so there is no suggestion that the two are related, at least not yet, but it's almost too close for comfort, so I think it's time for the conspiracy theories to begin about Ralph Healy and Malak Healy and whether they are in fact related. And that is going to do it for our rundown today of new stuff from the Solo: A Star Wars Story official guide from DK Publishing. And over on the audio version of the podcast at sw7x7.com/iTunes, I will be doing Last Jedi Trivia there or wherever you like to listen to podcasts. But we're done here for now, and it just remains for me to say thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you wherever in the world you may be.